Okay, this is part 2 of our special effects little mini unit that we're doing here to round out the year. Going to go a little quicker this time in terms of getting things set up. So when you go to the special effects part 2 assignment in the Adobe folder, you're going to see 2 attachments, the green screen plate shot and the green screen demo footage. Let's download both of those. They're pretty small, and then we'll fire them up into Premiere. So I've already gone ahead and made my project, assuming that we've done this a few times, we know how it's done. If not, you go back and review tutorial 1. Okay, so we're here. I've got my footage in here. I've got something called a green screen plate shot, and that's where I'm going to start with. That's where I'm going to start. So a plate shot is basically this. Ooh, I'm going to mute that. It's basically this. It's just no movement. It is just the background. And we need this because we're going to be doing some green screen stuff and removing things in the foreground, so something's got to shine through underneath, and that's what this is. So I'm going to get my demo footage next. It's yet another great example of my fantastic acting, and I am going to, there's a bunch of it with me like turning the camera on and wandering around. So I'm just going to maybe start right about here, and what I can do is I can just hit the in point with the eye, or I just tap on this, mark in, and I'm going to just move it to about there, and that's good enough for me, and mark the out point. And then all I need to do is take this and stack it on top of my plate shot. So see, I've got V1 and V2. So I've stacked my video onto V2. The audio for this lab, don't care about it at all. It's honestly just background noise anyways, so we're just going to ignore it for now. So here is what it looks like. Doesn't look like much of anything. Oh, that's just thrilling performance. All right, let's get into actually how we actually make that green go away. So the way we do it is we're going to go to Effects. Now, if you can't find the Effects tab, sometimes it's hidden, and if you just go into one of your groups or your little windows here and hit this little double arrow thing, you'll find it sitting there. It might be down here for you, but if you do a good solid hunt just pressing this, you should find it. If you still can't find it, go to Window, click Effects, and you should find it that way. So here we are. We're in the Effects tab. This is where all the different little video effects live. So I'm going to open up my video effects. I'm going to go down to keying. The process of altering an image based on like lightness or color is called keying. So we're going to use this one called Ultra Key, and I'm going to click it and drag it onto my top layer. So that's the video of me holding this green card. Now, right now, absolutely nothing happens because we haven't actually made any adjustments. So the next thing we need to do is go to Effect Controls. Again, if you don't see it, same process, dig around, you'll find it. Okay, so that's open. I don't care about motion. I don't care about opacity. Here we go, Ultra Key. So the key color is right here, and a little eyedropper is beside it. Should look familiar from Photoshop, so all we're going to do is click it, and then we're going to click on the green screen. Now immediately you see, haha, something is happening. If I just play it now, you actually get to see through me. Not a very interesting background, but there it is. Let's see if anything else interesting happens. Make it a little longer. Okay, nope, that's it. Good enough for me. It's a demo anyways, just to get you around the idea of doing the green screen thing. So what I'm going to do next is, you can see it doesn't look great, a little washed out. It looks kind of funny. We know we need to do a little bit of fixing to make this look better. We're not shooting in ideal conditions. In a proper film situation, you've got the right kind of lighting and everything's all set up just to make that green screen work just so. We're not in that situation. We're in a classroom where we don't have fancy lights. So we got to do some tweaks to this because it's you can see it's kind of washed out. So what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is actually change my output to alpha channel. There you can see that this is basically showing that black is see-through and white is not see-through. And you can see it's kind of gray in here. So I'm going to start mucking around with my tolerance and my pedestal. And I want it to be totally black. So if I just bump that up a little bit, that looks pretty good. If I go back to composite, it's looking a little better. What I'm looking at mainly is this thing and seeing, does it match the rest of it? It still looks kind of a little bit washed out. I'm going to bump up my tolerance as well. So tolerance is basically a setting that allows it to key off of a wider range of greens. So that looks a lot better. And now I can take a look at this, and there I go. Now I've used this in a very, let's say, unimaginative way. I'm just basically using it to show what a green screen does and how you can do it. And some Melia magic as well. Awesome. That's the basics of it, though. So I've used the Ultra Key. I've keyed out my color. I've tweaked some of this stuff in matte generation to make sure everything looks just as good as it possibly can. Now it's up to you to do this in a creative way. What could you possibly do that might make this more interesting? Maybe changing the shape of your green sheet of paper, make it into a circle and put a hole in your head. I don't know. You're all smart and creative young people. So give it a go. And that's it. That's the end of our part 2.